Cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's been almost a week. No, has it? It's been a couple of days. That's how I start the show.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Instead of saying I did the show yesterday, I go, well, did I do it 2 days ago, 3 days ago? I can't remember. But you know what? It's not September. It's April Ember, and this month has been crazy, and I would like to forget it. But that's all right. I had a nice walk today with my lovely lady friend.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, my lovely lady friend is a well-known celebrity now. We were on a nice walk yesterday, and someone recognized her
Daily
from the podcast pictures.
Podcast.
And so she's famous.
Yeah.
And this person actually asked her what her name was, and it's funny because she's like, you know what? I told her what my name is, but in the future, I think I'll just say I'm lovely lady friend. That's my name. That's my name. I said that's my name. Well, what have we learned through? Let's see. Last show was on Sunday. I got interrupted Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm sorry. Let's see, there was this really, really huge burrito that I ate on Tuesday. That made it utterly impossible to do this show. Yesterday, I was busy. I said, I've got to finally cook something at home. I've got to make something with my bare hands. So I grilled some chicken on the grill outside. It was a beautiful day, beautiful summer day, even though it's still spring. And my lovely lady friend found this cool recipe for something to make with coconut milk. And we threw some rice in there, and you know what? We are completely out of vegetables at my house. Not a vegetable to be seen, which makes me feel weird. It's like a car without gas. I get a little just nervous that there's no vegetables. Not a vegetarian, but I know vegetables are a vital, important part of our diets. And the fact that I don't have it, I just feel a little off. And at some point, I'll go over to the store and,
And here's today's podcast picture.
partake in that absoluteness. So people are saying, get us back. Let's get back to work. We're done with this. My mom reiterating what everybody was saying, pretty much that, didn't think this was a big deal to begin with, saying, it's just the flu. It's just a version of the flu. We should all go back to work. And, no, that's not really it. And she's not a scientist. She doesn't know. That's just how she feels in her gut. But I hope she doesn't get it. I hope Basil doesn't get it. I heard a cat got it in, New York. Is that where it happened? Basil, is that where all the weird stuff happens, is New York? Because a cat got COVID-19? But Basil's doing good. He's relaxing here at Cafe anyway. Everybody's standing at least 8 feet apart. We throw in that extra 2 feet. My lovely lady friend and I began binge watching. Well, we watched only 3 episodes. I don't know how much of a binge that was, but we watched Community. Interesting thing about Community that I had not realized, because we finished Northern Exposure, by the way. I was talking all about that last show. And no, we're not going to start watching Gilmore Girls. I put my foot down, and she's not interested. Thank God. I can't go through that again. I watched every Gilmore Girls twice. It's, not something I'm proud of. But Northern Exposure, we watched all of that. That was good. That's an interesting show from the early 90s. It broke a lot of ground for TV shows. It was one of the first shows to not have a laugh track and be a comedy and be a dramedy. It was. You look it up. Look it up in the Critics Guide thing. So, a lot going for it. Community, however, very interesting because the Russo brothers had to deal with it. I had no idea. The guys behind those big Marvel movies, Captain America, which makes sense because the guy in Community, I forget his name, he's also in the Winter Soldier movie. He's working on he's a computer geek guy. And they put him in the movie. I guess there's probably other crossovers between Community and the Avengers and all the other movies the Russo brothers did. And then there's, of course, Chevy Chase, which I don't think he's done anything since Community. The fact that he even did Community, I don't think people realize how odd that is. That's like a rare sighting to see Chevy Chase actually do a TV show. He probably needed the money, yes. Maybe he liked the script. It's well written. It's pretty funny, sharp little jabs here and there. And he did a great job, at least in the first 3 episodes that I saw, delivering the jabs and being his odd, kind of washed up CEO character, kind of a Warren Buffett washed out, wanting to go back to community college, which is all very interesting to me because I went back to community college in the ripe old age of 40, what was it? Maybe 43, 44. I went back to college. Community college. I was the oldest guy in the classroom. Oh, no, wait. In my business class that I took, there was a guy older than me. And often the teacher spoke about Warren Buffett. I ended up doing what's his name? Is it Tim Westergren who started Pandora, the streaming service? I did a oral speech thing. I guess most speeches are oral. A speech report thing in front of the class talking about, and I used PowerPoint. I was very proud of myself, talking about Tim Westergren, the founder of Pandora. Does anybody use Pandora now? Along the way came Spotify, and that killed everything. So what I learned was, though, at community college, is there is a definite vibe at the community college. It was different, very different from the university. I went to UCSB, got my bachelor's in, communications. That's why I'm communicating with you now. They taught me how to do that. And then I was like, I'm going to go to community college and take a class in business and a class in computers. I was fascinated by that, the history of computers. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley today, the last place on earth. And I learned a little bit about coding. Not codeine, the stuff that helps you medically do something. It does something to your body. Gives you wings and makes you... No, wait, that's the Red Bull? No, I'm talking about coding. That was fascinating to me. And if you are a coder, kudos to you, because that's pretty darn hard work, what you're doing. The podcast picture today, I completely buried the lead. It's Alcatraz. Oh, yeah. So this one show I was listening to on the radio, hosted by a guy who is one of Donald Trump's lawyers. He was asked by somebody who's probably a Donald Trump avid fan. The question was, hasn't this gone too far with all of this sheltering in place? Isn't it like we're under house arrest? And the lawyer for Trump, kudos to him, because he said, no, that is not what this is at all. You still have the right to go down the street and go shopping at the supermarket. Yes, you have to wear a mask these days here in California. And yes, you need to take precautions, but no, you do not have a band around your ankle. And when you leave the house, 5 police cars show up. That joke I took from my lovely lady friend. Thank you. And yeah, it's not like that at all. So calm down, basically, is what this guy said to this caller. And that's the thing, is we are blowing this out of proportion. I think we're all a little bit weary about it. I've noticed that a lot of people have been furloughed, let go. It's tough. And when somebody, like everybody has seen someone or know someone that's been let go now, and we're all, maybe we should go back to work. This is about time. But at the same time, got to remember the health of other people. So that's the quandary we sit in here as a nation, as Americans. Something happened with the mayor of, was it Vegas, saying that they wanted to go back to work and that they would be the control case in case they get sick, something like that. And then there's the story that was in Market Watch, Forbes, Newsweek, and The Hill, saying that the China coronavirus cases could have been 4 times higher than officially reported by the China Health Commission. They lied 4 times higher than the official tally. Amazing. 4 times higher in China. So that's pretty much. And then the other big question these days is about the WHO, the World Health Organization. Couple stories, couple people reporting on that Pompeo says the U.S. may never restore WHO funds. Democrats insist it must. But the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said a fundamental reform of the World Health Organization was needed following its handling of the coronavirus pandemic, and that the United States, the WHO's biggest donor, Blitzen, may never restore funding. As Pompeo launched fresh attacks on the UN body, that was yesterday, Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives accused Trump and the Trump administration of trying to scapegoat the WHO to distract from its handling of the coronavirus outbreak. In a letter to Trump, they called for the immediate restoration of U.S. funding, which Trump suspended last week, accusing the WHO of being China-centric and promoting China's disinformation and the outbreak. Something like they didn't report when they should have. The WHO has denied the Trump administration's charges, and China insists it has been transparent and open, which we know that's false. So here's where we sit. And I'm sitting outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. And I am seeing so many people out and about, but spaced far apart from each other, but taking walks and enjoying the outside. And I think we have to do that. We got to get out. There's all these celebrities saying, oh, you got to stay at home. Oh, and they're whining and complaining about, what was it? I wrote this down. Let's see. They're celebrities complaining that this is house arrest, that they can't leave. And that, I don't know, there's all kinds of shouting going on social media. Did you hear that? Facebook is now going to, whenever somebody posts something, a news story, it is now going to be Facebook or someone is going to somehow figure out where that story originated from. So you will see in the story where it came from. So if it came from Russia or something. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I just caught wind of that a little earlier today. So, at any rate, I find it very fascinating what's happening in today's world. And I find it difficult to do this podcast. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just difficult because there seems a lot going on, even though I don't have really a commute anymore. But the fact that so much of my mind and my brain and my day in and day out requires... Oh, Vince Scully's hospitalized. That's not good. He was great in the world of baseball. When I grew up in Los Angeles, in this LA area, you always heard him on everything, and he always talked about Farmer John's pork products, hot dogs. Vince Scully. Oh. And of course, he did the games, called the games. He's a national treasure in the world of baseball. Apple nabs Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell for the limited series The Shrink Next Door. Okay. Because Apple's trying to get that going with their Apple TV. At any rate, so I need a little reinforcement from you, the Mike's Daily Podcast listener. If you could, just drop me a line. I make it so easy. You can call me 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast tries to be. Or you can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Oh my gosh, an Italian cruise ship in Japan has 48 coronavirus cases. Yikes. Nearly 50 out of over 600 crew members. When is the cruising industry ever going to pull themselves out of this? I know someone that bought a bunch of some cruise line stock because he heard that if you buy a certain amount, then you get free cruises in the future. But that's a guy really forward-thinking at some point when we're outside of the coronavirus world in which we live. So I guess that's all I got today, except that I have to say hi to a couple of people here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
That's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what. I don't trust any Who at all. I hate the Who. I even hate Doctor Who. I hate it.
Because it's a British TV show and you don't like British TV shows?
Yeah, I do not like Doctor Who. Tell you
What?
Go say hi to that other guy.
Oh, yeah. Look who else is here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Oh, I can't make the delicious root beer house right now. I'll cut you. Oh, boy.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, here's an interesting thing that happened yesterday. And this root beer has no coronavirus?
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Excellent. Good. Yesterday, I've been doing a lot of walking with my lovely lady friend on these good hikes, and I think you need to get outside, as I mentioned earlier. That's my little tip today. Get outside. Just not around where any people are. Just avoid them. No, you should wave hi to them. Give them some space. Find a cool bandana to wear around your face, and then you look like you're going to rob a bank. That's not good. But still, my lovely lady friend and I were walking, and we passed by this tree that had recently been cut down, and I'm hearing this noise, kind of like this chirping that we're hearing outside a Cafe Anyway. But it was a little bit more of a frantic chirping. My lovely lady friend looks at this stump that was recently cut down, and she sees baby raccoons in a tiny little hole in this stump. And apparently this tree had been cut down, exposing these little raccoons, and the sun was shining on them. And at first my lovely lady friend said, hey, I hope the mom isn't around, she's going to come at me. But there was no mother to be seen. It's broad daylight, and I'm looking at this little one with the sun shining in its face. I'm saying maybe it's the sun. It doesn't like the sun in its face. So she got some leaves and put it over the hole, and then they were immediately quiet. It's like okay, now we're sheltering in place. Now everything is cool. So that was a fun little, hopefully they're okay. I care for my fellow animals. Big and small and not human or human. Oh, we missed Earth Day yesterday. Dang, did you say hi to Mother Earth? Did you go, Mother Earth, sorry for everything we've done to you lately? And Mother Earth said, hey, that's okay. I'm taking it back. I'm putting all kinds of animals everywhere, even in little stumps that you're walking past. So look out. Yes, animals are seen. Bears, everyone is seeing more wildlife lately. It's wonderful. Okay, next show it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Thank you for listening to episode 2018, 2018. What a year that was. That was a big year that happened just recently, didn't it? I don't remember a dang thing that happened in 2018. Oh, I met my lovely lady friend. Yes, of course, the most important thing. And we're going to celebrate an anniversary in a couple of days. Awesome. Okay, so enjoy your week and find out all the wonderful places that you can listen to this podcast and other stuff about the show and see all the past podcast pictures at mikesdailypodcast.com. And with more, here's Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!